Hey everybody, welcome to Vlogly. It's Emelda.
And I'm Jonathan.
Sorry. Today we want to talk to you guys about our experience with our daughter Zion, our second daughter, who has a congenital heart disease.
This is part 2 of a 5-part series. Hey guys, this is actually part 1 of part 2 of a multi-part series. We don't know how long, how many...
Yes, we didn't realize how long this video was going to be. So,
and how much there is to the story.
Yeah.
So hopefully you'll stick around.
And these are all true events. Nothing is made up.
Yes.
And we just want to share with everybody what we've experienced. We also want to reach out to other parents who might also have a baby with a congenital heart disease, or more specifically, like our daughter, she has
Tetralogy of Fallot.
Yes. And
Fallot.
Yeah, TLF, however you say
Fallout 4.
That's his way of calling Tetralogy of Fallot, because it's hard to pronounce. We just really want to find other parents that have been going through the same experience as us. We haven't found a lot of other YouTubers out there or anybody else that wants to vlog about tetralogy. We want to know what you guys also go through. So hopefully you guys can hear our story.
Our story can help you in a small way or a big way, however, whichever way. And Vlog, I love you!
Today we're going to continue to talk about our experience with our birth. We want to reach out to parents that might have a baby with a congenital heart disease, because maybe we can build or develop a community out there. Let's support each other.
Yeah. But we also want to vent our story, so this is part of it. We also have a really great story. You're in for a treat.
Yeah.
We weren't, but you are. So it's a great story, not to live through, but to talk about. In retrospect, yes.
So here we go. As you guys know, I was totally fed up with my pregnancy. I was already...
If you see the last video.
After the baby shower, I'm just like, I don't give a let's just have this baby shower. Put it together, but it came out perfect because it was all about the love of the family.
You can see
friends.
That link in the description. You were fed up by the first day of your 3rd trimester. Like, this baby was a lot because we already got diagnosed with the Fallout 4, and so that was already like very tough and trying, as we discussed last video. By December, you're just, this baby needs to come out already, even though you're like, she's not coming out till late February, and then it's winter, so it's so much colder and lazier, and it's just not the best time to be.
We also had a 1-year-old as well.
Yeah.
And I was working full time.
Yeah, that's right.
And traveling back and forth to work, and I was huge. I'm still huge. If you check out our other video, I'm huge. But anyways, as I was saying, I was done. How we do it at my job is you'll have 2 weeks off prior to your due date. And that Friday, the Friday prior to the 2 weeks prior to my due date. The Friday prior to my 2 weeks of my due date. Till my due date.
It was your last day of work.
Yeah. For some reason, I had this premonition that I was gonna contract and somebody
on
set
that
me.
Day?
I was gonna contract soon.
Oh, okay.
Somebody set me off on Friday. I was on fire, and
You know who you is?
No.
Oh.
Mad love. It's all about pregnancy hormones.
Mad love? What?
Mad love to whoever set me off,
okay.
but it's all about those pregnancy hormones. You just want to kill some people sometimes. So
you don't need to have be pregnant to do that.
And then the contraction started at work. So I'm like, I'm peacing out. Happy Friday, everybody. The contractions continued after I had left work that day into the night. So Friday night into Saturday early morning.
It was like about 1 or 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So first things first, before that, since she has the heart condition, we have to go to LA in order to deliver the baby. That's what they want us to do, because in LA they have all of the doctors who can take care of her specific condition.
And the equipment and all that stuff.
So it's not near us. So we're like about over an hour or so out of LA.
Right.
Ellie was asleep, but you're just like, we need to go.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm like, well, you want to drive all the way to LA? She's like, no, let's just go to the one nearby. And I'm like,
because I was thinking if we go to the nearby hospital, maybe if I am in active labor, they can transport me to Los Angeles. And that way we're safe, we're in the ambulance, we're okay. But now here's the story. I go in to a nearby hospital. I finally see the doctor, and he goes, well, if you're in active labor, I cannot push you away and have you leave this hospital to go to Los Angeles. I have to admit you, and you have to have your baby here. The downside is this hospital does not have a NICU, and therefore you will have to go to a nearby hospital, and that's where the baby will go in that NICU. And the hospital that he names, I kind of freak out in my mind. And why? Because
this is when COVID started, end of January. And so COVID is is spreading around the world, but we hadn't quite shut down. Nobody knew what to do. It was
in the country.
And then we started hearing rumors about them flying people straight from Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the whole thing. From there to near us, there were some people that had, I guess, traveled, and then they wound up getting quarantined.
At the hospital they wanted to send the baby to. And my reaction was, what I said was, where the Wuhan people are? Sorry, that just came out of my mouth. I don't have anything against Wuhan, China. So the doctor checked me, and I was not in active labor. My bag was not broken, and I was free. I was a free woman.
Well, they said, technically he would have had to keep you, but he's also saying, I don't have to keep you, so you could just kind of go, but don't mess things up, kind of thing.
He's like, if you feel that you need to go to Los Angeles, go. If you need to go, you just go, because you don't want to have your baby anywhere else where you're not prepared to deliver a baby with congenital heart disease.
During this whole time, Ellie and I are trying to sleep I'm trying to get her to sleep in the van outside with the heater on, because it was kind of cold that night.
Yeah.
She finally comes out, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm trying to kind of text and call and figure out what's going on, because it was like an hour or so later, and then she comes out. I'm late. We're leaving. We're gonna go to LA. We then had to call somebody and get somebody to watch Ellie. So we dropped Ellie off with your sister.
But before that,
what?
After that, we had to get McDonald's. This was a McDonald's baby, let me tell you.
Zion or you?
Me.
Yeah.
We head out towards Los Angeles, and I looked like a possessed woman. because it's late in the night. I'm having my contractions. All I can remember is sitting in the front seat, holding onto the bar, having my contractions, arching my back, and then falling asleep.
That's right, yeah. Because I'm driving, and then
I'm like,
she's just knocked out.
What do you call a person that knocks out super easily?
Narcoleptic. So
I have partial narcolepsy.
Nightly narcolepsy, where you just go right to sleep.
So the contractions come, and I'm like, and then I'm like,
yeah. And then snoring,
and then the contractions come. I'm like, it's coming. So an hour of that.
You kind of just knocked out, right? At a certain point, and you didn't wake up.
Right.
So we got to LA.
It was like 4:00 in the morning, and all of a sudden my contractions were gone. And here's a picture of the sun rising where we're at.
I don't know if it's the sun rising, but I took a picture of because we parked on a street where you look straight up and there's the Hollywood sign and the Griffith Observatory.
Yeah, and he says to me, "What did you say?" He's
what did I say?
Do you want to go in? Do you want to admit yourself? Yeah. I'm like, no, not if my contractions stop.
Yeah.
So I go, Jonathan, no, I'm not going to go. Let's just go home and we'll go pick up Ellie and we'll take a nap and go to church later that evening. So that's what we did on Saturday.
So we went to church.
Yeah, that Saturday evening.
Then that's when your contractions started again?
Yes. And so we're at church and lo and behold, I was on fire again. I'm just sitting there, just like listening to the words, trying to get inspired that everything's going to be okay.
And then you're grabbing your seatmate, holding their hand tightly. Like,
So I'm like, okay, I'll get through this. So Saturday night into Sunday morning, my contractions were the worst, but I'm like, I'm just going to write it out like a superwoman. And I go to the restroom to urinate. I wipe down below and I find my mucus plug, a part of my mucus plug. So I'm like, see, these contractions are pretty heavy right now. I call Los Angeles and they still say not to come. So I'm like, okay, fine. And then what do?
We went to my house, my parents' house, to watch the Super Bowl.
So I didn't want to go. I wanted to stay home. I really was not in the mood to do anything. I just wanted to lay in bed. But I wanted to be a champ as well. So I got up and we went to my in-laws' house. While I was there, I really didn't do much socializing because I was in so much pain. And I was laying in their guest bedroom. And also Ellie was asleep. During the Super Bowl Sunday, I remember feeling Zion kicking. I thought I felt her kick through my vagina. I didn't mention this to you guys, but Zion was announced breech. They call it a footling.
Right. Footling.
There's different type of breech, and she was named a footling. Mind you guys, the following week after this is all happening, I'm supposed to go in to Los Angeles and have an inversion. So I wasn't surprised after I felt that kick. I'm like, oh my gosh. I start hysterically laughing. I'm like, I'm not getting up. So I call Jonathan. He comes to the room. And what happens?
And so you told me, like, feels like she's kicking straight through my lower regions. I know if a baby is like foot is sticking out of that area, then that's a huge problem that they're gonna like. So we need to probably call an ambulance. So I'm like, pull off your pants. I need to see if there's a leg sticking out or a foot or a toe even, because then we have a huge problem on our hands.
I'm like still dying laughing, and I'm like,
she's just laughing even harder than before.
And I'm like, no, I'm not pulling down my pants. So then he tells me, he's like, it's time for you to call Los Angeles again and ask them if this is a good time to come down. I call them and they gave me the okay to come down and that they would admit me.
you came out to like right when the halftime show ended. And it was a pretty good halftime show with J-Lo and Shakira. So I'm like, do you want to watch the halftime show before we go?
I'm like, okay, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I have to watch this halftime show. And then after that, we said our goodbyes to our family. Dun, dun, dun. Cliffhanger.
Uh-oh. So hopefully you'll come back. In the next video, you're going to see us actually deliver
the baby.
The baby, yeah.
The
Who
Zion.
is the Zion. There we go. Say vlog I love you. Say vlog I love you.
No.
Choking Daddy, Ellie. You're choking Daddy.
Mommy, look at the camera.
Smile.
Cheese.